Aspire Media is coming to you right now straight from Bungalow on Rainey Street, ready to introduce to you one of Austin's local authors, Alexander Stringer, also known as Alex. Here we are introducing his new book, Dear Diary, I'm Wasted. And he has a couple of words and thoughts that he's put into this book that I'm pretty sure a lot of young people and probably old people who want to relive their youth would probably want to hear. Alright, so Alex, first of all, thank you so much for allowing us to hear your story today with Aspire Media. It's honestly really awesome that you decided to just come out here and hang out with us. So
yeah, I mean, thank you for having me and allowing me to talk. Like, I really appreciate that as well. So
for sure. So we're obviously here to talk about one thing, and that's because you are a local author here in Austin, Texas, and you actually have quite an interesting book. It's called Dear Diary, I'm Wasted. So I was wondering, could you tell me a little bit more about the book? What is it about, and what made you want to write a book at such a young age?
Okay, when I was in college, I used to get drunk as fuck and keep a journal. And I just did it for fun, you know, and I was like, all right, this is a cool thing to do. Like, this makes me want to go out because I feel like I'm like doing a creative project, and this is almost like an incentive to do something cool because I can write about it. Yeah. And I just didn't think about it as anything, you know? And then a few years later, I was, bouncing from job to job, not finding what made me happy, not really knowing what I wanted to do with life. And I just kind of looked back at my book and I just said to myself, wait a minute, like, I wrote a pretty cool journal, like, and I have a pretty cool idea. Why don't I just, like, take the time and put forth the effort towards turning it into something, now that it's like years later down the road and I can just reflect on, everything objectively. I wasn't doing anything else that, was worth taking up the time. So I'm like, well, fuck it. Like, I'm going to go make this happen and see where this goes. And like, I had a lot of fun writing my journal entries, and I had even more fun reflecting on them, So yeah. That's kind of where it happened. And I'm like, you know what, man, I got this badass book now because, like, as cheesy as and hallmarky as it sounds like, I wrote a book like filled with positivity and like happy thoughts, and like here it is, like me in a diaper holding a pig up, and boom, got a book.
Yeah, for sure. So you are an individual that lives in Austin.
Yeah.
And coming from New York. So why did you choose Austin, Texas?
I think the main reason is, like, I just wanted to get the fuck out of New York.
Yeah.
Like, I hated that place.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so, and like, I don't know that it's right to say like that you hate a city, because I think when you live somewhere your entire life, you're gonna kind of say that because it's like an excuse to just want to get out, to branch out and grow. And I think I just wanted to branch out and grow, and like, I didn't want to deal with the co-ols. I didn't want to pay $1 million a month for rent.
Yeah.
I didn't want to live with my mom and dad until I was 50, because that's just dumb.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had a lot of things that I wanted to do, and I just felt like I just couldn't really do them in New York because there's so much like pressure on you to just get by.
Yeah. So what was the process in selecting Austin?
I visited Austin like a year prior to moving, and I had fun in Austin just doing nothing. And because I hadn't really visited that many other places, I just said, fuck it, well, let's go to Austin because it's better than New York.
Yeah. So
make it happen. And then I just went out and did it,
Yeah. Moved to Austin, Texas. What has life been like for you since you've moved here?
All right, so believe it or not, like, I've tried to kind of like use Austin as like a vehicle for like getting a fresh start.
Yeah.
So like, when I moved to Austin, I said to myself, all right, Alex, like, you're gonna go into this new place and you're gonna develop like super close friendships, and you're gonna treat women with respect, and you're gonna like have a girlfriend, and you're gonna be a relationship guy, and you're gonna just be different.
Start over.
You're gonna start over and be just a different person.
Yeah. When reading your book, there is a certain person or character that builds up in my mind that is like, this guy is definitely this type of person, right? But when I talk to you, you seem to be very, like, you hustle, you want to work hard, you want to be a good person, and it kind of doesn't match up for me.
I don't know how you would even say something like that, because if I actually didn't have any ambition and I didn't want to hustle and I didn't want to be successful, I wouldn't have written that book, and that journal would still be on my computer.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I took the time and I wrote it because it happened years ago, and like, people have a right, like, people are allowed to grow up and evolve, and like, If you think something is good, and if you think that you created something that is good and that people like, and that can make people laugh, make people happy,
that's the focus of what it is. Like,
well,
you
yeah,
want to make people laugh.
like it
This
was
is
a fun,
good
it
thing.
was something I did for fun, and it's like a fun book to read, and like that's really like the main purpose of it. Like I had fun writing it. I had fun writing my journal entries. I had fun writing my sober commentary. I had fun writing my story. I have a lot of fun promoting it. I have a lot of fun having people read it in my pedicab. Like, this is something fun, and I want people reading it to like enjoy reading it. Like, it's not something to be taken that seriously.
For sure.
I just have a goal, and I have something that I really like doing, that I'm passionate about, that I'm trying to get out there, and that's my main focus, and that's kind of it.
Yeah. I think that's another question. How old were you when you wrote this book?
The journal entries took place my freshman through junior years of college.
Okay. And how old are you now?
I'm 28 now. And then when I wrote the summaries a few years back, because I thought it was funny and I wasn't really doing anything with myself, and just made a big joke about it. But I didn't really want to change it, because like nobody wants to read about somebody doing better than them, and that's kind of like why I'm like, all right, fuck it, this is actually pretty good, just leave it at that. It's not a big deal, just whatever.
Cool. Going back to the book, it's not an easy task to write a book, and I believe you're self-published, correct?
Yeah, I did it all myself. Yeah.
Okay. So, if other people were curious on how to write a book, because I'm sure there's a lot of aspiring authors that are watching right now, what was that process like, and what are some advice you could give?
You better love what you're doing, because it fucking sucks.
Oh, okay.
It sucks. Like, the process of actually writing a book, like, for a book like this, like, I'm towing a line, you know what I mean? So, like, I really have to be careful about how I phrase things. Yeah. And there are probably things that probably could still be improved in this, but, like, you really got to be careful about how you phrase things, and, like, what you say and how you say it. Yeah. Because, it's very easy to go from, like, funny to offensive, or from offensive to fuck this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I probably had to do, like, 6 or 7 rewrites. I was able to do this because I loved what I was doing, and I had a lot of fun with my entries, and I had fun making the stories, and I had a great group of friends around me who were willing to listen to me read shit from my book to them. Yeah. So like, I think that like, if you really want to know like how do you write a book and get what you're writing out there, you have to A, love what you're writing, B, love what you're doing and love the process, and C, like love your friends and family enough to like share your shit with them. And then D, just start hustling and contacting agents, and if you don't feel like doing it, there's a website called CreateSpace, and you upload what you got. Okay. And that's really the process.
All right, so Alex, you have 10 seconds to say anything you want about your book right now, and on your mark, set, go.
Great. If you like what you heard and you're interested in learning more about what I wrote or reading some of my entries, please check out my website, www.deardiaryimwasted.com. It's the title of my book, and just write .com afterwards, and that's pretty much it. And if you want to read more, you can get my book on Amazon and Kindle. And Roman, thanks for taking the time to interview. And,
awesome.
I appreciate it. Yep.
So to read more of Alex's stories, you can visit DearDiaryI'mWasted.com and purchase the book for yourself.